So as far as injuries go in practice today, Bo Keys, he will not practice. He's sick. And it looks like stomach virus. So Taco won't practice with the ankle, and then Mitch Schwartz won't practice with the back. Alex Okafor will be back at practice. So listen, we look forward to the challenge of playing the Raiders. Know they're a good football team, well coached. And we've got to have a good week of practice. We started today with a walkthrough, and we'll continue on here throughout the week and making sure that we understand the scheme in which we have versus what they show. All right, with that, time's yours.
Go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, just checking on McCole Hardman and Eric Fisher, since you mentioned Mitch Schwartz as well. Are those guys still on the COVID list? And are they, if not, are they going to be practicing today?
No, they will not.
Neither one.
Neither one.
Okay. And if, particularly in the case of Fisher, if he couldn't practice all week, but he passes all of his tests and all that and is feeling fine, could he play Sunday or I mean, I know he could according to the rules, but does that be something okay with you if he missed practice all week but still played on Sunday?
Yeah, listen, I might just take it day by day, but we'll see how that goes and how he feels and everything else. So have I done that before? I've done that, yes, with guys, but we'll just see how everything works out.
Go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, good morning. The Chiefs are on the verge of signing DeAndre Baker to the practice squad. I know it's probably not done yet, but what do you remember the most from your evaluation of him last year during the pre-draft process? And what are you hoping he'll be able to bring to the Chiefs?
Yeah, well, he was a good player in college. He did a nice job at Georgia. He and McCole Hardman are good buddies. And really Brett's been doing everything to this point and will continue to do it. So full trust in him to whatever he wants to do with it, we go. And so he and his guys do a great job of evaluating. Other than that, I don't know much about him other than he was a good player at college.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, I know that the bye week allows you to do a little bit of self-evaluation. Travis Kelce has even a little bit more of a production than he usually has. Is there something you could pinpoint that has led to like this slight uptick in performance this season?
Yeah, I don't know that. And it is slight, but he's done a nice job. He works hard. He's got a great relationship with the quarterback. Sammy's been out for a few weeks, so both he and Ten have had more production, and so we like spreading it around to everybody and give everybody an opportunity, but that could have probably worked with the increase part of it.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. Are you somebody that believes that you learn more, more from losses than you do from wins? I mean, do you feel like you learned something about after the first time you played these guys?
Yeah, so listen, I'm a big believer that you dig in on both wins and losses and you figure it out. Wins, because you won doesn't mean everything's pretty, but so you go in and you try to learn from both. You obviously with the loss, you get to see how people handle a loss and what they're made of, but that you see the same thing when they win in a different way. So you want to just be consistent. And I try to do that by example. I try to be as diligent as I can with admitting the problems when we win, admitting the problems if we don't, and then saying the good things if we win or lose. There's always a good and bad to it. And so try to be honest with it. And that helps you get better, I think, whatever direction you go there with the wins or the loss.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you about just an interesting trend based on the schedule. This is the third straight year you guys are going to play the Raiders after your bye week. I just wonder in the past, what can you take advantage of when you know you're facing a division opponent after your bye week?
Yeah, I mean, that's first of all, that's a unique stat. I knew it, but it's hard to believe that that's what it is. how it's fallen. But oh heck, people say, well, you're after a bye week, you have a decent record. Well, I can't tell you why. I mean, we try to prepare for the team that we're playing after a bye, and this is a good football team that we're preparing for, and we got to go through the same process as if it wasn't a bye. You got to go through and make sure you study and get to know them, and make sure you can correlate the scheme that you have with what their scheme is, and work it. So that's a simple answer, but that's kind of how we go about it.
Go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Just a quick kind of housekeeping, Coach. Did you mention Rankin as far as practice?
No rank. Yeah, those guys that had the COVID thing, they're
right. Just wanted to double check on that one.
Yeah.
Kind of on Baker. Baker, struggled in his first year. Just in general, guys like year 1 to year 2. Are there some positions more than others that they really need that kind of apprenticeship year? Like maybe like Patrick Mahomes was given right at quarterback. Is corner a spot where you really can't know what a guy's going to be till he's been there more than 1 year?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a bunch of things that go into it. I know when he gets here, he'll see the environment that we have, and he's going to be asked to work hard and keep his nose clean. So I mean, that's what you do, and we're very honest with that and open. And so when Brett deals with that, he keeps that real with these guys, whoever we're bringing in, but anything else isn't acceptable. I mean, that's how we go. So
got time for a couple more. We'll go Matt Derrick and then Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Today's offenses, and especially yours with the RPOs and a lot of the other concepts you run, require a lot of decisions from the quarterback. I'm just curious. I mean, as far as the decisions the quarterbacks have to make today, how many more are there than maybe there were 20 years ago when you were first starting out? And when did you see that Patrick was the kind of guy who could make those quick decisions?
Yeah, so the run game is probably the thing that's a little bit more difficult than what it was in the past, just with the options that they've got to understand there. Not that you didn't have checks you could get in and out of before the RPO game came in, but I mean, you're literally throwing the ball and trying to find voids, and you got to know what the defense is and how the offense exploits that zone and so on. So, that part's different. I'm not sure the pass game is much different. I think it remains the same. Now, I had a chance to go back through to answer your question thoroughly. I mean, to look at the 1958 championship game and analyze that. Well, the pass game is more sophisticated now than it was back then. It might be more now than it was when I first got in the league because of the quarterbacks throwing the ball more in college. So I'd have to go back and kind of go back through my old notes to work through that because we're kind of in the present. But it's but I think that there are a lot of things that correlate from what we were doing, what I had been doing before with the West Coast to what we're doing now. There are some base fundamentals that correlate to it. So
we'll go last to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, I hope I asked this in a way that makes sense, but when you're going through a week of game prep, how much of your work and your focus is specifically on the opponent that week, and how much is more general, broad, like let's get better, let's work toward having the best version of ourselves in January?
Yeah, so if you're playing for me, I'm going to try to exploit your strengths. I'm going to try to coach you up on whatever your weaknesses are till I feel comfortable that they can become a strength in a game. And then we're going to try to utilize those and work it in versus whatever that team is doing in the run or the pass game, and try to give you an opportunity to show and help us win a game. So, I guess it's twofold. You got to know what everybody's strengths and weaknesses are, and you try to put them in a position where we can be successful and what we do best and what an individual player does best, and then against whatever defense and in my case defense, in Spags' case offense. So.